Devlog Dark Soulsów Demake. Będzie Demake Dark Soulsów 1? O Jezu. Ja muszę częściej robić przerwę od sterowania, przecież ja wracam i dostaję tyle rzeczy, tyle kontentu. Te dźwięki nawet jeszcze.
About a week ago, I released this video where I tried to reimagine Dark Souls to the PlayStation 1 era. It was never meant to be anything more than just a side project I took on for fun, but apparently, a lot of you liked it, and for some reason most of the comments I received were about Fram's model. I honestly see nothing wrong with it, he looks absolutely fine guys, I mean look at him. Anyway, I'm making a Dark Souls remake out of love and passion for the franchise. This is a devlog, so I'll show you all of the progress I've made so far, but before we get to that, I wanna briefly discuss what I wanna achieve with this remake. I don't have the resources to build a full remake of the original game. I mean, just looking at all the weapons this game has is enough to give me a reality check. The current scope of the remake is to end it right after the Taurus Demon boss fight. And maybe, just maybe, I may include these two guys as a boss fight. I'm hoping to have a playable demo in the next 2 months of development, so I guess we'll see how things go. Now, doing it piece-one style definitely speeds up development quite a bit. It also helps that I can just copy Dark Souls' entire level design. I won't even try to attempt to alter the original design like at all and pretend that I know best, so I guess my job is to recreate all of the mechanics to the best of my abilities and also do all the modeling and playtesting and quality insurance, basically do everything. This is what was shown in the previous video. It was a recreation of Alex Shrine. At the time of this video, there weren't any mechanics coded like at all. I remember spending like 5 minutes to hack a quick character controller that was completely broken by the way, so I knew that I had to address that first. This time, making sure that things were done properly, and after a day's work, I had all the core features you would expect in a third-person controller, like falling, sprinting, rolling, and the backstep, which I don't think I've ever used because it's useless, but as I was writing the script, I learned that it's actually useful depending on the distance you are in, so yeah, I guess some people use it, but I don't. On day 2, I wanted to prepare some UI for the game, and to save myself some time, I grabbed this free UI pack I found online and modified it to make it suit my needs. I also made these 2 bars for the health and the stamina, and after some time, it actually looked pretty good. During this time, I also want to spend some time to learn about the limitations developers faced back in the day, and were there a lot. Way too many actually. However, there's no denying that these limitations is what made retro games, well, feel like retro.
Ale widzicie, jak niektóre IPsy, niektóre gry, jak wiernych fanów faktycznie mają, że robią do nich mody, demake'i, jakieś remake'i, porty. Bloodborne patrzy na ciebie. Patrzę do 60 FPS-ów. I powiedzcie mi teraz, czy wydaje wam się, że coś takiego będzie miało miejsce z Dragon Age Veilguardem, z Avowed? Najprawdopodobniej nie.
Have you ever noticed that these games had these wobbly textures? This is called texture wrapping, and well, I won't pretend that I fully understand the technical details of this phenomenon, but let's just say that older consoles had a hard time rendering textures properly. For my game, I'm using a shader to replicate this effect, and there are also a few additional rules I set to stay faithful to these limitations. For example, all of my textures are 128 by 128, and this was the most commonly used size back then. Also, I have to keep the render distance low, I have to keep the polygon low as well, and regarding shadows, these are also out of the question since they were too expensive to render back then. What a lot of games did was to bake the shadows directly into the texture. On day 3, I modeled an Estus flask, I wrote some code to store items in your inventory. As for a starting weapon, I made the longsword.
Totalnie od zera.
It's not Dark Souls if you can pick things up, so I made this fire effect to use for the pickups, program everything needed for it to work, and you can now pick items. This made me way too excited for some reason, but I don't know, it's just like the crispy sound effect. I mean, just hear this out. On day 4, I spent the entirety of my day programming a factual death screen. Since most of you will be seeing this screen quite often, I had to make it look good, of course. It wasn't too difficult to animate it, but writing all the code and ensure that everything was working properly, it was a challenge. I eventually managed to get it to work after some hours of debugging, and I even used the same exact sound effects from the original game.
I czujesz, że żyjesz, nie?
When you start a new playthrough, you spawn in this cell. What you gotta do here is to pick up the key and unlock the door. So I muddled this gate and key, and you can now pick up the key and open the door. So now I have all the required mechanics in place to recreate this small section from the game. So as always, I started with a quick blockout. I made the room where you spawn and the hallway that follows after you unlock the door. I kept the
Nie, no to jest jeden z takich projektów, że po prostu patrzysz na to i ci się całkowicie cieszy morda. Nie mogę się doczekać, aż w to zagram. Naprawdę.
geometry is super simple and use texturing as a way to add more detail. On the last day, I put everything together. I modeled these torches and placed a few of them into the scene. I modeled this boulder, which is supposed to trigger when you climb the stairs before you meet with Oscar, but I still haven't got to that point yet, so just for fun, I made this boulder trigger at the hallway after you exit your cell. And that's all, folks. This is the first devlog of many more to come. I'll try to publish one devlog every 2 weeks and hopefully have a demo out soon. And just for some people who are still watching, I made a Patreon page to post updates about the game and also include some early builds. I know this isn't an attempt to make you pay anything. All of the
Ej, ale w ogóle ta kultura teraz, taka demakeowania gierek, nie? Jaki to jest ciekawy pomysł. Weź grę, która jest nowoczesna i zamiast ją remakeować, tą demake'ów. Zrobią starą, zrobią drewnianą, zrobią w taki sposób, żeby była trudniejsza do poruszania się. Jakie wam przychodzą gry do głowy, które byście faktycznie chcieli zobaczyć zdemakeowane? Elden mówicie, nie? Gothic demake. Wyobrażacie sobie? Wiedźmin 3 zdemakeowany. To by na pewno było doświadczenie. Ale ja bym chyba bardziej jedynkę zobaczył zdemakeowaną. No. To Wiedźmin 1 demake by naprawdę mógł być super. Assassin 2. To już by, kurde, takie vibe Lara Croft miało tak naprawdę. Chyba Wiedźmina 1 ja bym najbardziej zobaczył.
post will be available for free to everyone and this won't change ever. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching.
No, Poe, może. Poe. Fajnie się zapowiada, fajnie.